We always talk about the good old days. The good old days were pretty good. Compared to where we are today, the system worked. If you tell me that the problem of money in politics, the distortions that it creates, is just going to keep getting worse, shoot me. Shoot me. I got 17 grandchildren. I cannot live with myself at the thought that they have to grow up in this kind of a world. There's something fundamental we better address pretty quick, or this country is going to be digging a deeper hole every day.
I think we have reached crisis proportions when it comes to money. A member of Congress devotes almost 1/3 of every day to raising money. How does money enter and interfere in what a legislator wants to do? You're spending that kind of time raising it.
And you remember there was a case a few years ago of a guy who was charged with giving $300,000 to a campaign. And they asked him from the bench or from the hearing room, "Why did you give that?" And he said, "Access." To me, that's being on the take. And then to have to read in the paper that all the politicians go to sit at the feet of some guy in his private digs, scuffling along the floor on their knees, a supplicant, "I need money." I wouldn't do that for anybody. That's disgusting.
That's the problem, and that's part of the why the Congress is so dysfunctional today, is they just don't spend the time legislating. People leave on Thursday, they come back on Tuesday, they try to govern on Wednesday these days, and you can't run a country this complicated with the challenges we face and spend so little time doing so.
Money today in the American political system has gone beyond just corrupting the system. I saw it in the Congress. I saw it when I was Secretary of Defense. I'll give you a good example, Secretary of Defense. We asked the Armed Services Committee of both houses to allow us to do our jobs and phase out old platforms, old planes, old ships that we don't need because we have new technologies coming in. Huge costs to maintain those. So the money starts to flow in to influence. Well, they go in and they start to say, well, we'll have to shut an assembly line down in 2 years in your state, in your district, and if you let this happen. And so the things that need to be phased out for the good of the country, the good of our security, by the way, those decisions don't get made because of that influence from the outside. Disclosure, transparency. That's where it's really got to start. Now, and not just a facade of disclosure, but real. Every dollar in and every dollar out, and where those dollars go to, all the way through, start to finish. That's where you must start.
So, number one, a complete disclosure. Number two, let's roll this back by finding a way to overturn Citizens United. And then number three, let's give the Federal Election Commission some sort of vitamin B12 industrial shot in the backside and say, you know what, if you're not going to do your job, you don't get paid. Ultimately, the American people can fix all of this by sending people to the U.S. House and U.S. Senate that will vote the right way and do the right thing on these issues.
So there's a great deal of concern in our country about lobbying and money and special interests and legislators. And what is this connection? Where is it legal and where is it nefarious or insidious? We talk about states being laboratories to fix this problem. South Carolina stepped forward with a solution, delinking the money and the lobbyist and the legislator. You can still lobby, you just can't give directly to somebody in the legislative branch.
There are plenty of things that we can do if we simply mobilize around the conviction that you've got to break this bond between policy and money. I look at history. There have always been moments in America where we didn't think things were possible, and yet they became possible. I mean, that was what the abolitionists were all about. That's what the suffragists were all about. That's what the civil rights movement was all about. We can do these things in America. That's the magic of our system, that the people can actually affect change as long as they believe they affect change. And quite frankly, if we don't find the answer, the future is not going to be bright for America. If we do find the answer, there's no question we're going to lead the world for the next 50 years.
This is not a red state problem. It's not a blue state problem. Across the heartland, across America, the left, the right, the Democrats, the Republicans, independents, we all need to work together to fix this. That's why this bipartisan ReFormers Caucus is one of the most unique caucuses in the history of our country. These are Republicans and Democrats, former legislators, people that know the system better than anybody else. Enough is enough. Let's restore our democracy. Let's fix this big problem before it results in, as John Adams said, the suicide of our own democracy.